Hi guys, welcome to Counterpoints. My name is Connor, and today we're going to be breaking down Hammer and Bolter Episode 5, Act of Faith. My earlier breakdowns had technical and lore issues, and we're going to be correcting those today. Not just that, but my old videos, I communicated in extemporaneous rants, which I do love to do, and some of you love as well, but I have found success and algorithmic appreciation for boiling the lore down and my insights down into well-edited, increasingly honed bites for easy consumption. So I'm very proud to be talking to you today about the Sisters of Battle, Warp Demons of the Imperium, and the nature of faith in the Warhammer universe. This episode is brought to you by Hawkins & Company. Everything today is soulless and mass-produced, but not the wallets from Hawkins & Company. They're hand-stitched in the United States from some of the finest locally produced leather and come in a variety of styles and configurations. I carry the bifold wallet daily, but they also have trucker and biker-style wallets available. Use code COUNTERPOINTS at checkout and get 15% off your order. Get a wallet that's manly, rugged, and refined, all at the same time, today.
Tell me again the story of our martyr.
It's all here. Her glory surrounds us. This chapel is where the martyr Saint Josephine made her last stand. Cornered by the foul beasts of the abyss, she was weary and with little hope. Yet Josephine knew that if she could not stem the tide of the creatures then and there, the entire convent would be overrun. And so, in her final moments, as the beast stole the last of her breath, she called on the Emperor to guide her hand. And the Emperor answered her call. In the ages that have followed, she has risen again to protect the convent in its most dire times of need, inhabiting the form of true martyrs, to fight their cause and smite the enemies of the faith. And so it shall ever be. Until she shows herself once more, I will keep the candles burning to light her way. And what of you? When your work here is finished, what shall you do?
Finished? I should like to make a pilgrimage to Antioch, the birthplace of our order. They have great libraries there, so tall they scrape the sky, so full of knowledge that it would take 1,000 lifetimes or more to appreciate.
How do you know? Have you seen them?
No, I always hoped to. I've read of them in the archives of the convent. I even spoke to Sister Georgia, who once made the pilgrimage herself.
And she affirmed the tales?
She said the sight of those halls was worthy of even the Emperor's eyes. Just the thought of it brings a tear to my eye, Agatha. I can almost imagine it.
The time will come. You shall walk those halls.
How can you know?
I have faith.
Our sisters, Agatha and Elena, guard the tomb of Saint Josephine. It seems this is not the first time the temple has been attacked by the forces of chaos, and during times of particular peril, the Emperor will answer faithful martyrs with a shred of his power, allowing them to purge the heretics of their blasphemy. All this religiously loaded language and concepts are particularly ironic considering the origins of the Imperium. When the Emperor first revealed himself on Holy Terra, he did not claim godhood, in fact the opposite. His holy crusade to conquer the galaxy had two priorities: to find his Primarch sons and to unite humanity into an enlightened secular philosophy known as the Imperial Truth. This truth held that there were no gods, that every superstition was explicable by human rationality. It was humanity's destiny to unite and rule the stars free from the religious dogmas of its past. There were contradictions in this vision and crusade, though. In order to destroy the religions of the galaxy, the Imperium had to be as authoritarian and dogmatic as the theocracies of ancient Earth. There were also places, hushed places, where the barrier between the warp and real space thinned, and this is where ghosts, phantoms, and demons played. Often dismissed as a rumor, the forces of chaos possessed even Astartes and turned them against their brothers. When the Primarch Horus fell, he became the vessel of what can only be described as dark gods, creating the heresy, a devastating civil war. This is a conflict that left behind the brittle Imperium standing in its wake. The Emperor himself, though mortally wounded, flirted with apotheosis, nearly becoming a dark god himself. Even in his shattered state, he manifests miracles and powers that mortals can only see as godly. To consolidate power, the Lectitio Divinitatis, once a persecuted cult in scripture, fostered and penned by the traitor Primarch Lorgar Aurelian, became the official religion of the Imperium. From this inspiration came several holy orders, including the Daughters of the Emperor, an all-female warrior cadre dedicated to serving the God Emperor and his Imperium. Through subterfuge, the tyrant Gog Vandire tricked them into being his personal guard. The sisters protected him during his bloody reign as a Lord of Terra, as he claimed to be the head of the Munitorum and Ministorum, the logistics and church wings of the Imperium. Renamed the Brides of the Emperor, they defended their charge against even the wrath of the Astartes, holding them back from killing Gog Vandire for his bloody excesses. It was only after a meeting with the Emperor himself that Sister Alicia Demonica ended the so-called Age of Apostasy with a sword stroke, taking Gog Vandire's head. In the wake of this conflict, the church was prohibited from men-at-arms, but through clerical oversight and an admiration for their martial prowess, the sisters were allowed to continue. New orders were formed across the galaxy to bring faith to the Imperium citizens and fire to its enemies. The sisters became the chamber militant of the Inquisition's Ordo Hereticus, called by inquisitors to root out and purge Chaos and Xenos cults with holy flame.
Khorne demands we look our enemies in the eye as we cut them down. Roar!
His saints. For the Order and our lost.
Sisters, be with me.
Darkness.
Saint Josephine, be with me. Emperor, be with me.
Khorne cultists are charging into the sanctuary to kill the sisters. The Imperium, for all its virtues, is still a dangerous and deprived place. Many planets have injustices, real and perceived, that cause the clan populations to rebel. Khorne, the blood god, thrives off of any killing or rage in the mortal plane. Considering war is a constant in the 40th millennium, he is wildly powerful and doles out that power to his followers. A man upset that his family was killed as collateral damage by Imperial forces, or a ganger whose comrades were gunned down by enforcers, may find themselves looking for strength and vengeance and fall into the grasp of the blood god. A cultist will grow stronger in his rage and stronger as he kills, finding that over time the injustice that set him down the path is now irrelevant, and the only thing that matters is his next kill and the next skull he offers to the blood god in sacrifice. This starts an endless chain of violence and vengeance, with the only requirement being that blood flows, since Khorne cares not from where it comes. A cultist pulls a pistol for the upcoming battle and loses a hand as a result. Most worshippers of Khorne relish melee combat, where strength and skill can prove who is most worthy of their god's love, and some abhor ranged weapons as dishonorable. While this is true, in this group, and this runt of a cultist loses his life to a larger and more brutal member, it should be pointed out that the Teeth of Khorne, a ranged weapon cult, are canon, and there are smarter members of the Blood God's religion who use sound tactics, strategy, and long-range weapons to maximize their offerings. As Sister Elena engages, she says, "For the Emperor and his saints, the Order and our lost," solidifying what motivates her as her God, his servants, the Order that raised and trained her, and the sisters who have died in service before her. She welcomes the cultists with her bolter, a 75 caliber gyro jet firing delayed explosive gun that absolutely annihilates its intended targets. When jumped on by a cultist, Elena uses the cultists as a shield, blasting holes into their back while still taking out oncoming opponents. Sister Agatha experiences a jam. Whether this is mechanical or the Eye of Khorne craving melee combat, who knows? Agatha opts for her power sword, a weapon that generates an energy field around the blade to cut through armor and flesh like butter. Agatha does just that, ripping through hordes of enemies, culminating in her cracking the nose of an opponent with the hilt of the sword and breaking his neck single-handedly with a power-armored gauntlet. I can see the love and the attention to detail, like the human shield and the pommel strike, but it needs be remarked that this entire sequence would have been much more glorious in a fluid sequence, not just showing us the climactic moments, but also showing us the moves that got us there. I love the lore and the love poured into each frame, but I sincerely wish they had more time and budget to bring these visions to life. It also needs to be pointed out that this all fuels Khorne. The blood spilt from cultists, the rage of the sisters, they may serve the Emperor, but one can imagine the blood god watching this raid on the sanctuary and savoring it as mortals would savor a fine wine.
And so we are blessed with a moment's respite. I might yet walk in the libraries of Antioch after all.
I believe you shall. Soon, our sisters will arrive to lend us their strength. Soon, this shrine shall be returned to peace and solitude. I see the light. I am blessed.
No! Sisters, be with me.
Khorne, accept your skull.
Josephine, where are you?
Be still, child. I am here. I am with you, Elena. But now is not your time.
Martyrs. I see the truth of it. Rise, sister. You have one more act of faith to perform. Saint Josephine is with you. Be her vessel. Be her wrath.
It is we who deliver the Emperor's mercy. And all who oppose him shall burn.
I have to say, my love for Hammer and Bolter only grows with repeat viewings. While the lack of fluidity does drive me crazy, I can see what the artists were trying to do. For example, a power-armored sister dodging a cultist eviscerator, punching the cultist's knee out, resulting in him impaling himself, is beautiful. Elena going berserker mode, gunning down a dozen cultists, taking another half dozen in hand-to-hand combat, and turning an uppercut into an arm break is fantastic. If given the detail in 2D animation, let's say perhaps the 3D animation from Pariah Nexus received, this would be one of my favorite sequences. An interesting objection and insight is that some people complain that the ceramite power armor the sisters had failed to the stabs of conventional swords, something not really possible in the lore. I never really liked that ceramite was a metallo-ceramic alloy, however something I've learned of recently is graphene. Graphene is one of the strongest materials on the planet and is just a sheet of carbon atoms bonded together in a hexagonal sheet at the atomic level. Not only is it ultra strong, it's also ultra light and electrically conductive. It is very conceivable that in the future, humanity could perfect this atomic bonding process into making a new generation of ultra strong, ultra light, heat and electricity dispersing armor that fulfills the lore of Warhammer's power armor. Agatha falls in battle, and by being martyred, she can become a vessel of the Emperor's will. She is possessed by a fraction of his power, and just that infinitesimally small amount allows her to burn away the cultists and save the sanctuary. This warp possession by the Emperor, a tiny amount of his power granted to his mortal servants, happened during the Horus Heresy, has happened to a number of Imperial Saints, and is rumored even to be the source of power for the Sanguinor and the Legion of the Damned. This adds in the creepy but very cool concept that the Emperor has become a god of order, absorbing the power of the warp and channeling it where it's needed most for his own designs. A final cool detail is that the tomb has been changed to resemble Agatha commemorating her sacrifice, which brings us to the end for now. Check out another video. We have literally over 100. Start from the beginning and see how we've developed as a channel. Like, share, and subscribe, and ring the bell so you can see whenever new content breaks. Comment down below for the comment gods. Get the best handmade wallet available from Hawkins & Company. Get your models painted by Mastermind Models and Miniatures. Get your gaming furniture from Ewan Racing, and support our sponsors linked in the description below. Check out the political channels if that's your thing, and join the Discord to hang out with other science fiction and politics nerds. I appreciate you. Catch you in the next one. Until the end.